Currently, she is appointed as Deputy CEO of Dr. Sulaiman Al Faqih Hospital in Riyadh. Welcome, Dr. Ahiba.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm so honored and humbled to be with you today and being a part of this great event that are gathering under one place, great healthcare leadership and great nursing leadership. And I really thank Hera and Al Musa Hospital for inviting me to be with you today. The first time I spoke with Hera about this conference, I told her I have two topics that I'm so passionate about. First is the healthcare nursing influence in healthcare transformation. And the second one is my passion about preparing the future nursing leaders. I think there are shortage of executive leaders, either on the level of nursing, medical, CMOs, and CEOs. And as our healthcare organizational numbers are increasing in the kingdom, I think we need to pay attention to prepare executive skills among nurses to be able to help with the transformation. So it's lovely to see that we are all thinking alike. It started with Dr. Mohammed Al-Ghamdi sharing some information that I'll be resharing as an introduction to my presentation. I've missed some presentation, but again, speaking about nursing empowership, magnet journey, as well as the involvement of clusters in creating new leadership and how we are moving with accountable care. So, touching base in Vision 2030, what are we trying to achieve, all of us as healthcare leaders? And in the Vision 2030. So basically, in Kingdom, we want to offer a fulfilling, healthy lifestyle. We want to have a thriving economy, vibrant society, and ambitious nation. Healthcare transformation program among all the programs that are helping to achieve this ambitious vision. As has been spoken by my colleague, Dr. Mohammed Al-Ghamdi, there are multiple challenges that the kingdom is currently facing. First, the aging population or the change in the age of our population. So we used to have much younger population. Now it's going to move into the middle age, and it comes with its own diseases that we need to focus on. We're also having a growing population. The vision for Riyadh, for example, and increasing the number of population in Riyadh requires more healthcare organization to be able to provide the care for those population. Moreover, the change in population in terms of more private sector participant and more health insurance penetration in both government and non-government society. Moreover, we need to focus on how our consumers' incomes and its impact and how they consume healthcare and what's that impact on their lifestyle. So as you see, we have a good number of expats that makes our population Saudi Arabia. We have kind of equal proportion of male and female, and our health population are actually more concentrated in East, Middle, and some part of the West. As you see, our population is going to have more middle age, so we will have fatty waste comparing to what we were in 2000. So we'll have less younger population, more middle, and more aging population. There is still a concern about healthcare expenditure and knowing the financial part as a competency related to healthcare leadership is as important as knowing the leadership and the clinical care to be able to really contribute. The CEO themselves or the CMOs or the CFOs cannot do it alone without the involvement of all the clinical leaders to be able to really have a focus attention in our expenses and how we provide a value-based healthcare on our day-to-day practice as nurses. Moreover, recently CHI has enforced that government hospitals are also included. So for emergency care that are admitted to government hospital, they should be refunded from insurance companies. That requires nurses who works in semi-private or non-private organization to learn more about RCM, to understand the process of care and how the refund eventually will be able to be done in a way that is more cost effective, and it really requires different way of thinking. So our stakeholders dynamic and access to care and pricing requires a new skills for healthcare leaders and specifically nurses to be able to contribute. And we spoke already about the change in population. Moreover, there is a huge drive into privatization of current semi-government as well as government hospitals, which also requires a new dynamics, a new way of approaching our healthcare practice. So basically, 4 important targets that health sector transformation is trying to do. Facilitating access to healthcare services, so number of healthcare organizations, as well as model of care related to acute and chronic healthcare. Improving the quality and efficiency of healthcare services. So we cannot claim that we are doing high quality care when we don't have the data, when we don't have database that showed how we manage our diseases in the kingdom, especially for those chronic diseases that we are currently doing. And that cannot be done without being also efficient in terms of our expenses. You could bring all the technologies, you could bring a huge number of nurses, and you claim that you are providing quality. But in such era of healthcare transformation, we need to be efficient and really provide the quality at the same time, the value of the quality that is combined with efficient healthcare services. And then further is promoting or preventing health risks as the kingdom, as well as the traffic safety. There are 4 areas that's currently challenging that the healthcare holding company, the FAB, and all the organizations that in the kingdom are trying to put huge efforts to focus on those. One is the financial stabilities of healthcare systems, public health, workforce size, and also capabilities. So yes, we could focus on a graduate number of nurses, we could focus on more advanced nursing practice, and so on. But we should not focus only in the numbers, but also on the capabilities. So how we can really have advanced practice nurse practice to their full potential. How we can make nursing leaders work hand in hand with their healthcare leaders to contribute to this transformation. And of course, effective delivery of a quality healthcare. So again, I love the alignment between our thoughts. So this is the Institute of Medicine report that spoke about nursing participation during the health reform in the States. And they said that nurses will not be able to contribute if they don't practice to the full extent of their education, if they do not achieve a higher level of education and training that improve the education system. And nurses should be full partners with physicians and other healthcare professionals in redesigning healthcare. And I'll stop here. Redesigning healthcare requires huge influence and involvement in making the policies. It's really at the level of the policies that we should be involved in terms of licenses, in terms of how we contribute, how we should design the patient journey, and so on. And if we are not involved at that level, our contribution will continue and influence in much a smaller level that we will not really have the influence that we all dream of. Effective workforce planning, as we all have wish lists about how many nurses we want to recruit. We all want all kinds of specialties, but at the same time, it's our job to plan those workforce, to be able to do cross-training, to ensure that our members are well prepared for shortage, because we will be all faced with shortage. And if we are not prepared and utilize our resources effectively and use the technology to ensure that we are efficient in our care, and again, data collection, not only related to diseases, but also how efficient and effective we are, how we spend our day, and how we could maximize the workforce that we currently have, because that's reality, and we should really deal with reality. As a clinical nurse specialist myself, my master was advanced nursing practice. I actually studied doctor of nursing practice, so it's not the typical or the PhD that my colleagues have. I think each has a contribution, and each has a role in our and how this contribute. But definitely, when you reach to your highest education of nursing, you will be able to, as the leaders, well prepared to involve the system, so such as the clusters and the national level. You need to collaborate more with your colleagues, either clinical or non-clinical. So that's the interprofessional collaboration. And then you influence the evidence-based practice of clinical care and protocols that you provide daily to your patients, and eventually have the databases that reflects your value-based healthcare. Definitely, nurses will not be able to influence if they don't have the skills for healthcare policy, as well as the ability of advanced practice nurses to contribute to the clinical prevention and population health. We are also an era for information technology, and each one of us as healthcare leaders, not only nurses, should master the skills and see how this contribute to our patient care, and how we can reach to patients even in their home and engage them to be able to keep the healthy lifestyles through technology and through effective communication and documentation. So I've used this recently in some of my speeches, but I really call all the healthcare leaders, and specifically nursing leaders, to help in doing a national level preparedness of executive nurses. And I think it really needs, with the number of hospitals and number of the organizations that is going to happen in the kingdom, if we don't put hand in hand and prepare our future leaders, I think we'll have a huge shortage in terms of nursing leadership. So I call for a national program that looks at high potential and selection of succession planning. We need to partner with all the current national initiatives, that is like the Healthcare Leadership Academy, MESC, and all those organizations, to have a focus programs that's focused on nurses. And then we need to have a mentorship program. We all learned academia, we practice at the bedside, but if we don't have that mentor who already experienced being a healthcare leader and really experience financial statements, how a strategy is being done, how the manpower is being planned, all the lessons learned that we learned it ourselves. I think it's very important that we do a mentorship program, and Shabab was talking about the magnet experience, for example. If we are not generous enough, I think many of us, we accomplished our career goals. It's really the time to give back to the nation of the kingdom, and to really prepare the new generation of healthcare leaders, and specifically nurses, and be open for this mentorship program that we share our experiences, and we really give this time of our day to build those future leaders. And I think I really see lots of candidates that could contribute to this and share this wealth of experience to the next generation. I've used this as the American executive leadership competency just to highlight on the business skills that is truly needed in any healthcare leader. You could have the behavior and the soft skill as a leader. You could have the relationship management. But if you don't have the business skills of the financial management, human resources, driving change and really driving change at the system and organizational level, this is the type of nursing leaders that we all, I think, dream of and really want to pass this knowledge to our next generation and continue to build our skills ourselves. And life is a huge learning experience that keeps going. And I think all of us will keep building on those competencies, but it's also our humble responsibility to share what we've learned so far to our next generation. And I think all success stories start with a vision and successful visions. And I think we all have all the means currently with the vision of the kingdom to achieve all our dreams. And nursing leadership and the ability and capability of nursing leaders is my dream. And I think all of you could contribute in that. Thank you.